Welcome to this tutorial on advanced searches and filters. Searches and filters are related concepts in scroll tag. The difference between them is that a search only shows the verses that meet your search criteria, whereas a filter displays whatever passage you are currently in, but highlights each of the words that matches your search criteria. Because searches display all the verses that meet your search criteria at once, it can take a minute to load a search if there are lots of hits. A filter, on the other hand, only has to highlight the words that match your criteria in the passage that is currently displayed, and so can load instantly. The same search syntax are available for both searches and filters. To enter a search in scroll tag, we can simply type the search into the command line. Previous searches typed into the command line are easily accessible by using the up and down arrows while on the command line, and are also saved to the filters window, which we'll look at in just a minute. To search for some text, simply type in the words at the command line. For example, we can find all the verses that contain the words God and create. If what we really wanted was to find all the times that words began with create, including create, created, and creates, we can place an asterisk at the end of the word create to tell scroll tag that what we are looking for is not just the word create, but any words that begin with those letters. Notice how all the verses that match our criteria are displayed with vertical scroll bars so that we can scroll up and down to see all the matches. Additionally, if we place words we are searching for in double quotes, scroll tag will only find the verses that contain that exact phrase. Now, if we want to go to one of the passages found in the search, we can simply double-click its reference in the References panel. Any of the searches in scroll tag can be limited to a given book of the Bible by prefixing your search with its 3-letter abbreviation, or can be limited to a given corpus in the Bible by prefixing the corpus name to the search with a colon. So, for example, we can search for all the times the word sacrifice occurs in the New Testament, or just in Paul's writings, or just in the Torah. We can also search for Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek words in the same way. Simply change the language to either Hebrew or Greek by using the language selector to the right of the command line, and type in some words or phrases to search for. You can look at the keyboard reference chart to see how to type the various Hebrew and Greek characters, and can even fully customize the Unicode keyboard. The keyboard is intelligent, and so will automatically switch between Hebrew, Greek, and English, depending on the context, to simplify entering the different languages for us. Scroll tag also knows the difference between Hebrew and Greek consonants, vowels, and accents, and so will intelligently find what you are looking for. For example, if you do a Hebrew search for only consonants, scroll tag will find text with those consonants. If you type consonants and vowels, scroll tag will find text matching those exact consonants and vowels. Notice the difference in results between just searching for the consonants bait, resh, aleph, and searching for those same consonants with vowels. Also, if you don't type an accent, scroll tag will ignore the accents. But if you do, scroll tag will make sure to match them as well. Just as in English, note that you can search for both words or phrases and can include an asterisk. To simplify searching, there are 3 quick menu functions. One to search on the text, one to search for a root, and one to search for morphology. So, for example, if we select a word or phrase and hit the Search for Text button, scroll tag will find that text for us. The search will normally be performed instantly when you press this button, but this option can be changed under the Settings window and the Advanced Settings tab by clicking Deferred Search. The Deferred Search option makes it so that when you press the search buttons or hotkeys, instead of instantly searching, the search criteria are placed on the command line for you to modify before performing the search. A deferred search also tells you how many hits there are before performing the actual search. If you want to continue, simply press Enter again and the search will be run. Coming back to the different types of searches, we come to root searches in scroll tag. Root searches are just a subset of the morphological search where we do not include any morphological information except the root itself. As in other searches, we can use the asterisk to specify only part of the letters in the root. We can quickly perform a root search by selecting the word whose root we would like to search for and clicking the Find Root button. We could also type in the search to the command line. Since English words are also tagged with the root in scroll tag, we can also do a search for English words that have a certain root for those translations such as NASB which have this information. Simply select an English word and click the Find Root button. This will find all the English words which are translating the same underlying Greek or Hebrew word. Now let's look at the type of morphology searches that we can do in scroll tag. All of the morphology searches can be typed into the command line. But to simplify creating these types of searches, there is the morphology window. If we have a word selected when we go to the morphology window, its morphology will be brought up. Let's pull up the morphology window for the first word in Matthew. Here we can see that the morphology window is broken up into two halves. The top half is a graphical representation of all the options available in the morphology. Notice for all three languages, the part of speech is the first option. On the lower half, there are a series of drop-down menus that represent the options available to you. When you change a menu, the menus after it will change to reflect the morphological categories now available. The description of the morphology on the top of the window will also scroll to the correct part of speech to allow you to easily reference your available options. As you select the menus that represent what you would like to look for, the code will be updated in the code edit box at the bottom of the screen. You can also either type in a root to search for in the root edit box, or click the Get Root button to select a root from the dictionary. Note that there are drop-down arrows on both the code and root edits because there may be multiple morphological tags on some words. Also note that depending on what morphological categories you choose, there will probably be some optional suffixes that you may append to your search. These suffixes are morphological tags that are only appended to some words, but not all. An example of this would be the pronoun suffixes that are often attached to Hebrew words. You can require either the presence or absence of these suffixes, or can ignore them altogether. For further descriptions of the morphology, see the appropriate documentation for either the Westminster Hebrew Morphology or the Analytical Greek New Testament. Once you are finished typing in your selections, you simply click OK or press the Enter key to send your criteria to the command line on the main window. The final type of search available in scroll tag presently is the Hebrew phonology search. This search allows you to look precisely for various ways that Hebrew words are formed. This type of search is beyond the scope of this tutorial, but please reference the documentation for examples of how to run this search. In order to help organize your various searches and filters, scroll tag has the filter window. Here you can create or modify existing searches, run combinations of searches, change the colors for searches, and save and open previous groups of searches. When we perform a search by pressing the Run, Search, or Filter buttons, each of the searches that is enabled will be run in order, starting at the top. How each search relates to the one that came before it depends on its combined setting. We can move searches up or down, check or uncheck all of them, or insert and delete searches with the buttons at the bottom of the window. There are also 4 buttons that help us to modify or create new searches near the top of the window. The Book Limit button allows us to easily limit our search to a given book of the Bible or corpus. The Root window makes it easy to add a search for a root, and the Morphology button makes it easy to add a morphology search from the Morphology window as we looked at earlier. The Language Selection button makes it easy to type in Hebrew, Greek, or English to your searches. There are also 3 buttons that allow us to perform searches. All 3 of these buttons run all of the searches we have enabled and calculate how many hits they have. The difference is in what they do next. The Run button simply runs the search and keeps the search loaded in memory. This allows us to see how many hits each of our searches had, and if we want to go back to the main window, we could view this search by enabling filters, since it is still in memory. The Search button runs, and then takes us back to the main window while it searches the text for these results. This can take a while if we have lots of hits, so scroll tag will warn us if our search found more than 10,000 hits that match our search. Lastly, we have the Filter button, which runs our search and then takes us back to the main window where it has turned on filtering and allows us to see our search criteria highlighted in whatever passage we are looking at. Let's load a filter that we have created earlier that marks every Hebrew verb according to its conjugation and stem. It will take just a minute to run this search since it searches for every Hebrew verb in the entire Old Testament multiple times. But once the filter has been run, we can navigate to any passage in the Old Testament and scroll tag will mark all the verbs for us instantly. We can turn on and off filters by simply pressing the Filter button. Notice how quickly scroll tag is able to highlight every verb. Lastly, let's look briefly at the tag filter and tag root functions. These functions allow us to tag a note with 2 kinds of searches that we can run. To use the tag root function, simply select a word and press the tag root button. Now the tag window will appear and allow us to configure the note however we would like it. Once we press OK, each word in the current book of the Bible with the same root as our selected word will be tagged with the note we just created. Likewise, the tag filter function will tag every word in the current book of the Bible that matches our currently loaded filter with the note we create. We hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on advanced searches and filters, and that now you're able to construct powerful searches to help you study God's Word.